Tom Mitro, CEO of Aerie. Tom, thanks for joining us again. It's great to have you.
Well, thanks for having me, Tom. I really appreciate it.
So I'm going to introduce a new feature to these interviews, the LinkedIn Bingo. We went on your LinkedIn profile.
Wow.
And we haven't prepped this one. You were at you got a degree in botany from Miami University.
That's right.
What were your plans with the botany degree?
To get out of college as quickly as I could. No, actually, the reason I studied botany was because it was really a genetics degree. That's, if you studied genetics and chemistry, you ended up with a botany degree, and then that's exactly what I did.
Okay, well that leads into the question, how did you find your way into the place you are? You didn't start off in ophthalmology, you first started at Allergan?
Well, actually I started first at Ohio State University, frankly, when I was doing a research project, working in the lab and taking samples and testing them and all those sorts of things, but I really found that lab work and me just were not homogeneous. We were like oil and water, so I began interviewing on the campus there, and luckily enough, Allergan was very desperate and had to hire a sales representative because their training class was about to start, and I happened to be in the right place at the right time and said yes, and that started off my career in ophthalmology.
That's terrific. So where were you were there for close to 2 decades, 20
That's
years?
right, about 24 years or so. That's
so
right.
did you work with the ophthalmology products while you're there? Were you doing
Oh, sure. Well, you know, at Allergan, you get a chance to do an upper lot of things. I certainly worked with the dermatology products, the ophthalmology products, and of course the optometry products as well, too, through all of my career there.
Mm-hmm. We'll be talking about AMO a little later today. So you left Allergan in 2002.
That's correct.
And what was the cause of that? What was your next step?
You know, one of the things I loved about Allergan, which absolutely was a fantastic company, and by the way, still is a fantastic company, is at least in my experience, I was able to start a bunch of new things. I really wasn't one that sort of like kept the train moving. I wanted to start the new train. So when I think back to my time at Allergan, I think things like started our managed care marketing department before there was one around pharmaceuticals. I started our generic drug subsidiary before branded companies had one of those things. I restarted our skincare strategy and ran our worldwide skincare for a while, then started our e-business and took an equity stake in a company called VisionWeb. So I liked that. And then what happened with me is that Allergan kept getting bigger and bigger based on their success, and all of a sudden I got a call from one of my old bosses at Allergan, Vince Anido, who was president of North and South America for all of Allergan's attack units at that time, and he was down at this company called ISTA and said, I've got a company down here that I'm sure you're going to love to come to because two good things about it. One, it just failed its phase 3 trial for the one product it has, and secondly, we're out of money. And he says, so this sounds like your dream.
Where do I sign?
That's exactly right, and for some reason, somehow he convinced me to go down there, and it was actually a wonderful experience though.
Yeah, that must, I mean, normally I have these conversations like, how did you make that leap? And usually the opportunity sounds a lot more appealing than that, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So did you just enjoy working with Vince so much, or could you actually see the path through all of that down cycle?
Well, certainly I knew Vince was a fantastic leader, and I knew he was a magician around raising money. So I had a lot of belief in that, but I also thought, here's our chance for us to really create a company. I mean, the company was there, but it had about 20 employees at the time. So the company was there, we could really build something here and get people to believe in what we were trying to do. And quite candidly, what we tried to do was build ISTA in the image of old Allergan, like Allergan when I started in 1980, when it was just doing $70 million a year. I mean, and Alcon, by the way, was our fierce competitor. They were an awful lot like Allergan as well, too. I mean, they were companies that we would call, they were full of athletes. It didn't mean they were athletes, it just mean highly competitive, energetic people that really cared and ran as fast as they possibly could and always tried to run faster than the other guy. And I thought, we can do that again. We can do, and by God, I think we were very successful at doing that.
That's outstanding. It's always great to take that leap and obviously to have it pay off. So how did you finally find your way to Aerie?
Well, after, what happened with ISTA is that Bausch & Lomb came in and purchased ISTA, so it became part of the Bausch & Lomb family.
Sure.
I took some months off, had some fun, and then I began working up at another company, and then one day I got a call from Vince again, who said, hey, I've got
you hung
this.
up.
I should have hung up. And, Vince said, I've got this great company that's got these unique glaucoma products, very early stage, but you know what, they might work out. So why don't you come aboard? You'll build the commercialization team, you can run the company, I'll take care of the investors, all those sorts of things, and by God, we went and ran with the roses. So right after I joined, we did our IPO, and the great news about Aerie is we had fantastic scientists there, like Dr. Casey Kopczynski
Sure.
is a world-renowned trabecular meshwork expert working with Dr. David Epstein, who unfortunately passed away, and that was their vision to come up with a glaucoma drug that actually attacked glaucoma at the diseased tissue, the trabecular meshwork. And from there, we just kept building. We did an IPO to raise money, had a number of other money raises along the way, and now we find ourselves with our first NDA, hopefully about ready to get approved in the next 3 to 4 months and begin commercialization.
Well, let's talk a bit about the advisory committee and the news there. That was obviously a great day for you folks. You've been working hard at it.
Yeah, you know, that was a really strenuous exercise. It is for all companies to go through the advisory committee. I mean, we spent months and months preparing for that, and then the final payoff came when we went to the advisory committee, because after we presented and the FDA, of course, presented their side, the panel was asked to weigh in on 2 votes. The first one was, does the studies done for Ropressa show efficacy for the product? And all 10 of 10 panel members voted yes, unequivocal support. The second one was, did the benefits, meaning the efficacy, outweigh the safety risks? And again, 9 out of 10 people voted yes. So we just got fantastic support from the advisory committee, walking away with 19 out of 20 votes, if you will, being affirmative for Ropressa. We think that speaks very highly for the potential, and hopefully the FDA's hands, but also the potential in the marketplace, which we are running to now as quickly as we can.
You've been in this space for so long. How did the past 10 years in ophthalmology, did it shape up the way you thought it would? How would you characterize the last 10 years in ophthalmology?
Yeah, I think really what it has, there's a couple of soft spots though that I still think will get a lot of development through the next 10 years based on what they've been doing in the last 10 years. I mean, I look at certainly the area of dry eye as an example, and you know, we come to meetings like this, we hear a lot of companies talking about the potential for the dry eye therapy to come through. I mean, it's still amazing to me that we only have 2 therapies in that huge market. The other one, of course, is the retina space with the anti-VEGFs. Here we are with really 2 injectable products back there, you know, Lucentis and Eylea, those sorts of things. I think, to me, it always reminds me of back in glaucoma, back when I started. You know, there were only a couple of glaucoma products. Now you open up the drawer and there's, you know, 4, 5, or 6 different classes of drugs, all treating glaucoma a little bit slightly differently, all those sorts of things. I think the next 10 years we'll find hopefully dry eye and retina expanding their portfolio and armamentarium so they can treat those 2 diseases in a number of different ways.
Terrific. Well, it promises to be a great decade and we look forward to following it with you.
Well, you're going to be a big part of it as well too, so thanks a lot for your time, Tom. I really appreciate it.
Excellent.